Hey, chat, we need to get going. The verdicts are here. Let's get to the verdicts now. Okay, so let's back up real quick. It's only been like a minute or two. We'll get to this here. Here we go. Let's get this rolling. Don't spoil it for everybody. Oh, fuck off, Judge. Okay. All right, hold on, chat.
Attachment to the verdict. Don't.
Here we go. Here we go.
Wait till you get out of the building before you let your emotions out.
Pamper tamps, chat. Pamper tamps. You can hear sound now.
So the verdict forms are properly executed, properly completed. Copies will be made available to the parties. In all circumstances, the jury finds in favor of the defendant. No plaintiff verdict prevailed. So the matter will be concluded with defense verdicts. Thank you, Mr. Klingler. Thank you, Mr. Osborne. Thank you to the court staff and the Sheriff's Department for security in the building. And we'll go ahead and stand in adjournment.
Suffer, you fucking piggies. Suffer. Ooh, lick 'em low, Lisa. Lick 'em low. Lick 'em low. Lisa licks pussy to and fro.
You guys want to go on into the room?
Go ahead and relax, whatever it is you need.
I'll get your phone.
Yep. Have to leave through to that.
There's someone crying in the back.
Then go back into the room.
If you guys don't mind to hang out in there for a little bit, I can get you, okay?
Another win for the Afro man.
Thank you, sir.
Lick 'em up. Lick 'em up, Lisa. Lick 'em low, Lisa. Yes, Ohio is still based, chat. Afroman's an honorary Ohio man now from this. Remember, chat, send all your pound cake deliveries to the Adams County Sheriff's Office. Yes, thanking God for a righteous verdict. Praise. I agree. I'm sure the defendants or the plaintiffs are like, you promised us. Oh, legendary status has been achieved. Absolutely flawless victory. Did that guy ever find out if Afroman fucked his wife? Kind of important.
Everybody is excused.
That's what we're waiting for.
Well, the judge doesn't say anything. Congrats, Afroman. Congrats. I wonder how much money they pissed away on this. I don't know, quite a bit, I bet. And ultimately, we're going to go back through this, guys, and go back to the beginning and watch day 3 because we didn't get to it. But yeah, this is just it was just such a fucking travesty. I'm glad that they cited that. I'm glad the jury's like, yeah, this is bullshit. Because this was bullshit today. This was bullshit. This is such bullshit that happened today. So suffer plaintiff's lawyer, no contingency for you. Yeah, well, here's the thing though when it comes to this. Matthew Harden and I were talking. I kind of wonder if the FOP had been bankrolling this. The Fraternal Order Police. Which makes a little, like, someone had to have been paying for this. Because that's a lot of, like, this is a lot to take on a kind of shaky case. I mean, this was far from a sure thing, so I don't know if this guy really was on contingency. That's wild to me. That's wild to me, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was on contingency. I'm thinking somebody had financed it, and I think it was probably the FOP. Or something like that, or some sort of police benevolence association. Yeah, his countersuit was already dismissed, guys. That's it. Luke is saying if it was just the PDF claim, could this have been different? Oh, I think so. If this was just the one cop saying I'm not a pedophile, this probably would have been something else. But this turned into such a sideshow, and you basically have all the plaintiffs saying, well, I'm not really mad. It's like I'm more upset at everybody else in the team is being made fun of. You know, they basically admitted they had no claims. And that happens. That happens here. Are the depots going to get released? At some point they will. So, he's got over 1 million YouTube subs. Based Afroman. Total Afroman victory. Total Afroman victory. So, yes, total victory. Let's go. That's right, Justin Smith. That's right. Lona Laskin says, congratulations, Angela. Oh, did she have her baby? I didn't see. Did she pop it here in chat? I didn't see it. Can Afroman get attorney's fees? Yes. He can. They can ask for attorney's fees. I doubt this judge is going to grant it. This judge has been real shitty overall. So, no one says, I told you it was a good case to cover. Well, if you were telling me that back in the day, yeah, this has been a good case from the beginning. Afroman's going to smoke so much weed tonight. Oh, I bet he is. He's probably going to fuck Randy Waters' wife, too, while we're at it. So... But congratulations to Afroman. Congratulations to Attorney Osborne. They were on fucking point. Real quick, chat. There is a PSA we need to address, and we should address this real quick. There is an Adams County Sheriff's Office out in Colorado, and they have a big thing they want to make sure everybody understands, and I think it's relevant to kind of address this here. But the Adams County Sheriff's Office brought up a nice YouTube video.
So some of you have heard, most of you haven't. Adams County Sheriff's Office in Ohio and Afroman are in litigation with each other. We know some of you have heard it, though. So we want to provide you a quick geography lesson. We are the Adams County Sheriff's Office in Colorado. They are the Adams County Sheriff's Office in Ohio.
Yeah, that's a lot of states in Adams
before
County.
You start sending us messages, calling us, emailing us, DMing us, you may want to Google it.
I think that's very wholesome that they were, very wholesome community engagement by the sheriff's office there. Very wholesome community engagement. So yes, there was some leering there, chat. Well, Quicksilver says, how dumb are people? Well, they just Google Adams County Sheriff's Office. That's probably the one they saw, and then people jump in. I mean, come on now. So the average American's understanding of geography. Well, I mean, do they really? It's nothing to do with geography. It's like if you see on Google somebody starts, or on Twitter or somewhere, somebody starts lighting them up, everybody just jumps in. That's the nature of Twitter and stuff. Like, you can't act like you're shocked that people just go off the chain and attack attack along with the group. Like, also, if it doesn't say where they're from, like if you don't say, hey, we're in Colorado, bitch, you can't get mad at people for assuming you're them. Because they don't put Adams County, Colorado Sheriff's Office. So I don't blame people for getting mad. Like, you guys, it's... But I will say they took it all in stride. That was very funny how they did that. That was fucking hilarioso. So, so let's move on to the actual trial itself, guys. We're going to get into the trial here because we didn't get to watch it. We're going to watch the trial starting at the beginning here. This is the first witness called by the defense. Remember, the plaintiff rested, and we're now on to the defense's case in chief. So here we go.
Some of Mr. Foreman's music from time to time.
They do.
So this is the officer whose wife had a felony, and they brought her in to testify. And I've been told this is kind of like seals the deal. Yeah, no, we missed some of her. They started late. The local news did not do a good job on this one, so suffer, chat, suffer. So here we go.
You've worked with kids for how long?
30 years.
You've got into the mind of kids pretty well.
Yes.
When they would play Mr. Foreman's song Lemon Pound Cake, did they take that as a literal fact from your observations?
No.
Were they laughing and joking about it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, so the kids
Are
were
you familiar with
laughing.
the
Everybody
song
laughed.
WAP?
I think I've heard
Sorry,
it.
no, strike that. I'm going to give you the complete song and then summarize it because I only want to say it once. Are you familiar with the song Wet Ass Pussy?
Yes,
Is that a rap song?
it is.
Has your students played it in class?
Once, and I asked them to please turn it off.
When they were listening to it, did they think that was fact?
No,
So they didn't think that that was depicting anything in real life?
no.
Well, I mean, it was
So
about
you
wet
didn't
ass
have to
pussy.
teach them that wasn't real?
Right. No, I did not.
You've heard the song, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you believe it's a literal interpretation?
No.
Would you agree it's derogatory towards women,
No.
even though it says nasty things about them?
Yeah. No. I mean, it's the artist's opinion, I guess. That's the way I feel.
Maybe not an opinion you like, but
Yeah.
Your Honor, if I may have one.
Sorry, I had to finish this up, and I ran out of time because of the emergency verdict. So,
So, Ms. Grooms, has Mr. Foreman's posts about Sean or any of the general posts about the Adams County Sheriff's Department as a whole affected your life any at all?
No.
Would you believe it would have affected your life while you were married to Sean?
If it had any effect, I guess that would be the time it would have an effect.
But as his spouse, you would have expected it.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't want you to go into too many detail, but is it fair to say that Mr. Foreman, the posts about the police department, everything had not a damn thing to do with your relationship between you and Sean and why it came to an end?
No, it did not.
So
Not a
the
damn
posts
thing, chat.
never affected your life, never affected your marriage.
No.
Okay. So any statement to the contrary would be false?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Well, there we go.
Thank you.
I don't know why you're going to ask questions here. You just impeached your witness.
Morning, Ms. Grooms.
Good morning.
I'm sorry you have to be here.
I am too.
Thanks for coming.
It would have been funny if she said, I'm only here because my pussy husband filed a lawsuit like a bitch.
Where to start?
Hey, Eric, how you doing?
You never sought a protective order against your ex-husband, did you?
Yes, I did when we divorced. The divorce, yes. I
Did
had a
you?
restraining order.
Did you got a restraining order?
Yes, I did.
Were you aware of the posts that were coming out after 2022 about the sheriff's deputies and calling them thieves and that sort of thing? Did you ever see any or hear any of the songs?
Some of my students referred to it and they would say, I saw your husband in the video. And I would say, yeah, that was him, and turn around and walk away. I didn't elaborate on any of that, no. And
Why?
they didn't either,
Why didn't you elaborate on it?
because I didn't think it was the student's business.
Okay. So they had seen your husband in videos?
Yes,
And did you tell your husband about that?
about,
That your kids had mentioned it?
no, it was just a mention and that was it.
Okay. Did you ever, you saw the posts yourselves or videos yourself, or did you just hear about it from kids?
I saw part of it and then I heard about it.
Okay. And did anyone else in the community ever say anything to you about these videos or posts?
No.
Just your kids?
It's my students in the school.
Students? Okay. The song that Mr. Osborne asked you about, does that song refer to a specific identifiable person?
I don't think so.
Those are all my questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Rhonda, Mr. Klingler asked you about your students. Your students saw the posts
Yes.
and they articulated to you?
Yeah. Just say, hey, I saw your husband in this video.
Students can, would it be a fair statement to say children can be mean?
Absolutely.
You've seen instances of them being cruel?
Absolutely.
Are they cruel to both other students and teachers?
Yes.
I don't like bringing up sensitive subjects, but has any of your students ever been cruel to you in the past?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Would it be fair to say they've said some pretty mean things?
Yes.
You see, I'm trying not to ask you what they are, but are they shocking names?
Coming from my students, I mean, in all honesty, it's, you know, when they're mad at me because they didn't receive an A, yeah, they get mad.
And they
And-
lash out.
Yes.
But they're not calling names a fact or anything. toward you.
No.
And they've seen these posts.
Yes.
Did your students treat you any differently?
No.
So could you point to any instance where a student treated you differently due to the posts?
No.
I'm going to ask this question. You said you're sorry to be here. Why are you sorry to be here?
Because from my recollection, my ex-husband had said that this was part of the reason we got divorced.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Klingler? Mr. Osborne, am I right to understand this witness was a lay witness?
Huh.
This was a lay witness, not an expert.
Yeah.
She's a lay witness to testify to what she would have experienced in this.
And the only reason I did that is to explain to the jury that people sometimes have training experience and can make opinions as experts. If a doctor comes in a medical malpractice case, they're an expert. This is a lay person, the same as any other. Some of the questions spoke generally about society and public perceptions, which would seem like more of an expert opinion, when in fact, as a lay witness, she can only testify about what she experienced herself. So you have to understand the scope. She's just what happened to her, lay average person, not educated expert. Thanks for being here. You can be excused. Go ahead, Mr. Osborne.
Your Honor, I'd ask for a short 10-minute break so I can talk with Mr. Foreman. Based upon the ruling and the Rule 50, I want to juggle some of my witnesses, make some corrections to that, as I had anticipated a different verdict due to the evidence, or different ruling due to the evidence, so I'm going to need to shift for that. I'd like 10 minutes to consult with my client to strategize on that.
Comments, Mr. Klinger?
No, I have no objection to that, Judge.
If you're doing well managing your time, I think that's a good idea. It was like, you know, how I am with getting the jury on schedule.
Your Honor, that's why I want to strategize, see how we can hopefully.
Yeah, well, I appreciate what you're saying. Take a break, go back to the jury room, stay there if you would.
Rule 50, guys, the JNOV judgment, for a directed verdict. It's also, making it the judgment, notwithstanding the verdict, so that the jury makes a verdict. Remember, in a civil case, the plaintiff and both the defendant can ask for a verdict, or a finding notwithstanding the verdict. It can go either way. Remember, it's a civil trial.
Please, short break will be helpful. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving forward to the point where you get the case handed to you. What comes next is closing arguments and instructions of law. So closing arguments are meant to be the opportunity for the lawyers to tell you what they think the evidence means. If you want to take notes, do so, but draw a line on your paper and say argument, not fact. I don't know how you keep notes, but I have to keep them organized. So I can realize who's talking. You've seen me do it a couple of times. Lawyers aren't evidence. The witnesses are. It's the same thing here. I don't think you would get confused or misunderstood. The plaintiff goes first because the burden of proof is on the plaintiff. The plaintiff also, because of that burden of proof, gets the privilege. So they get not only the first word, but they get the last word. So Mr. Klingler would start, Mr. Osborne would go second, and then Mr. Klingler would get the last word. Not because of favoritism or anything else, but because of the burden of proof. Then at that particular point in time, we'll give you jury instructions. And I'm going to take a break after their arguments because I need to make a few copies for the lawyers to read while I read. We give the instructions to you in writing, but I always like it when they can read over my shoulder because sometimes I put two words in different order and it changes the meaning. So then we have 3 people reading to make sure it comes out to you right. So we'll hear their closing arguments, take a short break, you'll get the instructions, and then we'll turn you loose. Go ahead, Mr. Klingler.
Your Honor, if I may, procedurally, I'd like to renew my motion for the record.
Thank you. Very appropriate. With regard to the false light claims, the court overrules the motion. Outside the presence of the jury, I can give you a little bit more of the why. But when I give deference to the evidence, which is strict favor, especially with regard to highly offensive and reasonable juror, reasonable public perception, those clearly become fact issues to weigh, which I shouldn't do. So as a matter of law, I couldn't dismiss the claims. There's at least enough evidence when I construe the plaintiff's evidence in their favor to get past the Rule 50 motion. But you are spot on to remind me to do that.
Well,
Your
hold
Honor,
on.
we need to clean up the
Hold
process.
on. What? Hold on. Hold on. Is he doing this in front of the jury?
the court overrules the motion outside the presence of the jury, I can give you a little bit more of the
Oh,
why.
okay, that's outside the presence of the jury.
When I give deference to the evidence, which is strict favor, especially with regard to highly offensive and reasonable juror, reasonable public perception, like those clearly become fact issues to weigh, which I shouldn't do. So as a matter of law, I couldn't dismiss the claims.
Okay,
There's
all
at
right,
least enough
Chad. I
evidence
got worried for a
to play this
second
evidence in their favor.
because he
They
fucking
didn't have
chats
real
like
business,
he's a
but you
chatty
are
Cathy in front of the
spot
jury
on
anyway
remind
all
you
the
to do that.
time.
Your Honor, there's also another matter we need to clean up. We probably should do at the sidebar before we go into oral arguments.
Okay. I like cleaning things up.
Real quick, we got some super chats to get to here real quick. Corrections 101. Been America 12 months. Good to see you again, man. Like I said, it's been a while. Good to see you. It says, God bless America, baby. Yes, God bless America. Wig walk for $5 is total Afro victory. I'm honestly glad this was a short one. Me too. After Corey Richards. Osmosis Jones says, do they owe him now? Not automatically, but Afroman has the right to ask for fees. I doubt the judge will grant them. Chugi Show says, just joined. Did he win? Yes. He wins on all counts. I mean, look at that courtroom attire. Your fucking flannel shirt on, Lisa. Good work. You're definitely not selling the lesbian shtick at all. John Coleman for $5 says, who else is singing the Lisa song at work today? I have been. 2.0, I showed it to her, and she's like, as soon as it started playing, like, I watched her head. I was just going like, she was nodding along to it. She's like, also, this judge looks mad. Oh, he looks pissed off to be there. He's a visiting judge. He gets like $500 a day and health insurance through the state by doing this. I don't know what he's bitching about. But yes, lick him up, Lisa. Lisa. You know, come low. Lick him up, Lisa. All right, here we go.
They want to see, like, well, I have voted 3-0, the lawyers all being unanimous. They want to see, like, this last draft of instructions because often they use the instructions in their argument.
So wait, he's not saying, he's talking in front of everybody. This is way too much. This is way too much to be doing in front of a jury. You should not be doing this, Judge. You shouldn't be talking to him like this. Is way too much. Could he show up in any Ohio court? No. I mean, theoretically, yes, but I'll take my chances if that happens. So he talked about all that shit in front of the jury. His reasons for not granting the motion to dismiss, which is so fucking wrong. That's error right there because now he's letting the juries hear stuff. But yeah, he could show up in any court theoretically, but he's a judge that is predominantly down in Southern Ohio. He's out of Dark County, Ohio. I don't think he'd ever come all the way up here just because there's a shitload of judges in the Cleveland area. So would I ever want to be in front of him? No. I'm not impressed with this.
So, like, the chicken scratching stuff that we've been doing in the past is distracting. So we're going to let me do my work. It's 30 minutes that we need. So we'll go take a coffee break. Just stay back there. Instead of me doing it the other way, we'll just take the break now for the jury instructions.
Can't smoke any smoke.
The bailiff doesn't like irritable jurors, so you should go smoke. Do you like irritable jurors?
I prefer not to have.
Okay. Yeah, go take a break.
All right. Thank you.
You're pretty high maintenance.
Exactly, yeah, like you're supposed to.
Everything you need to know is right here.
Sorry, chat. We're going to skip ahead here.
Five plaintiffs are, for instance, I'm not submitting to the jury whether the 5 plaintiffs are private figures or public figures because the McBride decided that. So in the instructions, I've taken prior decisions of law where necessary and put them in, and you didn't deal with that. But sometimes I have to tell the jury how we got to where we are. That becomes instruction of law. The law of the case goes into the instructions. So
Is he looking like, is the jury sitting there while he's discussing all of this? This is so fucking improper.
and I don't explain it to him. I'm just saying.
It's like he's looking over at him.
Traditional law of the case finding.
Yes, he won on everything, Aaron. Total victory.
Sound right, Mr. Osborne?
Your Honor, I have no objection. No objection, Judge.
Okay.
Yes.
Off the record, you want to start?
Your Honor.
Okay.
We're off the record.
Well, we have the two housekeeping things. I have to renew my verdict, and then we have to also discuss the music company.
Okay.
We're back on the record.
Okay, so 2 points came up. You wanted to renew your motion for Rule 50.
Yes.
dismissal, which the court overruled. Mr. Klingler responded to your inquiry about the Access Incorporated.
Yes, Your Honor. Just for the sake of the record, we had a telephone conference on this. We had discussed this issue. They had not pled. They were technically in default of the answer during that telephone conference, which was not on the record. We discussed what would happen with that. Mr. Klingler said he would evaluate it. We are now about ready to do closing statements. No evidence has been presented against him. Mr. Klingler has not asked for a default judgment. He seems to be wanting to put everything on my client, which is very strange. Why, when he has a default, he wants to make a motion for such. But we would ask that the record be cleaned up in that issue.
Yeah, I'm going to clean up the record, and we are going to dismiss that party from the case.
Media Access Incorporated.
Yes.
We've registered an objection to him not doing a directed verdict, or sorry, doing a default verdict on that, and therefore increasing damages upon my client if they should be found.
No, that he gets to own some complaint. So I just have to follow his lead. But I get what you're saying.
But I can argue for mitigation of attorney fees and stuff that he has done.
No, if it gets to that, if it gets to that, that's not part of the jury's work.
I'm trying to think of step ahead.
I like that. On the record, please. Go get him. Do it, Mr.
Erica, you mean just parading in the courtroom?
Part of the jury's work.
What do you mean by just parading in the courtroom? Like the judge walking around or what? Because like nobody's parading around. I'm confused. So I'm confused what one we're talking about. Like who's parading? I don't know what that means. Son of Sam, we're going back and watching from the beginning this morning. Because we didn't get to watch it. We came in here right at 6:30. Yeah, walking around, yeah, that's just that judge wants to do it. I don't know. This judge is a little weird anyway, so he's a weird guy.
Before you start. So in an hour, you'll be talking to me for about 30 minutes of instructions before you start your deliberations. That's what's ahead of you. If you take notes, just write down argument, not evidence. Go ahead, Mr. Klinger.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Lick 'em, Lisa. Lick 'em,
Morning,
low.
When this trial started, I told you it was about intentional lies that are designed to hurt people. It's not about freedom of speech. It's about defamation. It's about false light defamation, intentional lies designed to hurt people. You've heard all the evidence. You've seen the witnesses. I'm not going to go over it. But I will say a few things to underscore what I think is most important for you to keep in mind as this case is turned over to you, from me, from the plaintiffs, to you. Mr. Foreman perpetuated lies intentionally, repeatedly, over 3.5 years on the internet about these 7 brave deputy sheriffs who've lived in this county.
So
for
brave,
years,
so brave.
risked their lives for this county for years, done their job, been in the community for many, many years. Mr. Foreman did it intentionally. Mr. Foreman knew that what he posted on the internet were lies. He knew there was no theft. He knew there was no sex with Randy Walter's wife. And he certainly knew all of the stuff he's repeatedly posted about Lisa Phillips
Okay.
up until Friday and probably later were lies too. What are we going to do about that? Mr. Foreman told you from the witness stand, there's nothing we can do to stop him because he has freedom of speech to lie about people intentionally.
Yes.
During jury selection,
Yes.
we talked about that,
It's an awful
you all
fucking
agree.
closing, chat.
that it's not okay to tell an intentional lie about someone that hurts them. We all agree. And the judge is going to tell you that.
I mean, yeah,
In
it's
the law
bad,
review.
but like, is it the worst fucking thing in the world?
So
No.
Mr. Foreman is legally wrong when he says he has free speech to tell harmful lies about people.
I mean,
and
is
get
he
away
really
with it.
wrong?
That's just legally wrong. You also told me in jury selection,
Somebody
that
told me.
even if somebody does something to you that hurts you, that you think is wrong, like a search warrant execution that you think was unfair, even if somebody does that to you, you told me, we all agreed, that that doesn't justify telling intentional lies designed to hurt people.
Does it?
That's what you think.
I mean,
That's
I
what
thought it
the
did.
community thinks. It's what decent people think.
Is
But
it?
Mr. Foreman thinks it's okay to do what he's done over 3.5 years because they executed a search warrant that broke down his door
Yes.
and disconnected his cameras.
Yes.
You heard
You now understand
from
it.
the witness stand from Mr. Foreman the callous indifference that he showed to what he's done, the harm he's done.
Those poor little police officers.
It's
It's
imprinted
so
in your mind,
bad.
I'm sure, like it is in mine.
Yeah, so bad.
The tears, the agony from some of these witnesses. Don't
Yes,
forget
Ryan.
that when you're back in the
They
jury
rested.
room.
Yes, they rested yesterday afternoon, and Afroman had one witness this morning.
That's what this case is about. You are here because you agreed to be here. You showed up on the first day. Not everybody does. A lot of people don't respond to their summons. You did.
That
I
part's
asked
true.
you,
Most people don't show up for jury
do
duty.
you want to be on this jury? And you all said, yes, I agreed to be on this jury. You're all here now in this place, in this courtroom, for a reason. And I believe there's a power higher than us that brought you here today to do this
God
job, and that
sent you
you
here,
are the
Chad.
chosen people to do it. Nobody
Wait.
else is going to do
Not
it.
like that,
There's
Chosen.
not going to be another trial. There's not going to be a second chance. This is the day to decide whether Mr. Foreman gets away with what he's done and whether these plaintiffs deserve something to make up for what they've been through, and whether the community is told that what he did is unacceptable. It's not okay.
Well, the community decided it was okay.
We talked about different kinds of damages. There's not going to be
Including
economic damages
imaginary
in this case. There's no
damages.
doctor bills. There's no damaged property. There's damage to reputation. There's pain and suffering.
Wait, these people never had to go see like psychiatrists or psychologists. Like, must not have been that bad.
There's public humiliation. There's everything you saw and heard from these detectives from the witness stand. And the only thing you can do as a jury to decide this case is to render a verdict of money that somehow stands in, somehow represents
Magic money.
the harm that these deputy sheriffs have been put through over 3.5 years. That's
Is it
all
really
you can
gonna
do.
fix
You
it?
can't issue an order that says stop. You can't issue an order that says, say you're sorry. all you can do is issue a verdict for an amount that fairly stands in, represents what they've been through, what they've lost.
They haven't lost shit.
No one else is going to do it. The judge isn't going to do it. Court of Appeals isn't going to do it. It's your job. And you're the people meant to do it. Now, I told you in jury selection, if we got to this point, I'd try to give you some ideas about how to evaluate what kind of verdict might make sense in this case. I told you then, and I'll tell you now, there's no formula. There's no easy answer, but there is an answer. And it's the answer that you folks decide among yourselves fairly represents the injuries that these deputies have suffered.
Brian, yes, we know it's out already. We have it at the bottom. We're catching up, though, because we didn't get to see it earlier today.
And I'll start by posing this question. Do you think that if there had been an advertisement in some newspaper that said, we will give you $2 million if you are willing to go through what Lisa Phillips has been through for the last 3.5 years? Would you take that deal? Do you think she would have taken that deal?
Yes.
Yeah, $2 million. That's a, maybe I'll go through that. Of course not.
Bullshit. I'd do that for $2 million.
Do you think Randy Walters? Do you think Brian Newland? Do you think any of these deputies would have accepted some amount of money in order to go through, in exchange for going through what they've been through?
Yes.
I don't think so. And I think nothing is worth going through what they've been through. And of course, he says he's not going to stop. He says nothing can stop it.
Nothing can stop him. He's
Maybe
all the
something
way
can stop
up.
him if you tell him through your verdict that he needs to stop. I'm going to tell you what I believe is a fair verdict for these plaintiffs. And it's up to you, of course, again, to make the decision. But I would ask you, I'm going to ask you, and there's a verdict form, which, excuse me 1 minute. Folks, I'm going to show you these forms that you're going to be filling out, just so you're familiar with them. This is just an example. You're going to have a different form for each of these plaintiffs, okay? This one happens to be a verdict form for Lisa Phillips. And I believe the evidence is overwhelming that you'll find in favor of Lisa Phillips. This happens to be her false light claim. There's a separate claim for defamation, a separate form for defamation, and you'll see the jury instructions. Judge Hine has already talked some about that with you. So this is just an example of the verdict form that I'm going to ask you all to sign in favor of Lisa Phillips and all of the plaintiffs on their false light and their defamation claims. Now, there's another form called an interrogatory, and I'm just showing you Lisa Phillips's form.
Chat, in a case you are allowed to do this.
We, the jury, find damages for
This is
plaintiff
allowed.
as follows. And then it gives a little description of the kind of damages. And there's a line for your decision, and there's signature lines for each of you to sign. For Lisa Phillips, I'm not going to show you every form. For Lisa Phillips, folks, I'm asking you to put $1.5 million in that verdict form.
Remember, 30% of that goes to him. So that's 500 G's right there, buddy. He's whale hunting, chat. Whale hunting. 30%.
$1.5 million for Lisa Phillips from what she's been through for 3.5 years. Maybe going through for who knows how long. For Brian Newland, I'm asking you to issue a verdict for $1 million for what he's been through with his family, the loss of his dream job here in Adams County. For Randy Walters, I'm asking you for a verdict of $1 million.
What?
For what he's been through.
Are you fucking kidding
with the
me?
allegations and vile videos about his wife. For the other four,
We'll talk about that, John. We'll talk about that. I don't
plaintiffs.
think so.
Sean Grooms, Sean Cooley, Justin Cooley, and Mike Estep, I'm asking you for a total for all four of them of $400,000 divided among them however you see fit based on their testimony.
He says pound cake doesn't matter. But God, that's a lot of fucking money they want, chat. Wow. You are fucking high, officer or attorney. You are high as fuck.
You, of course, can award less. You can issue a verdict for more. That's what I'm asking you to say in your verdict form based on this testimony. Now, let me close my remarks by looking into the future here and looking at the future. If there's a verdict for the plaintiffs and you award the plaintiffs a fair amount of money, what happens? The plaintiffs are vindicated. The court of public opinion out there, the press, which I know you haven't been looking at, they don't know the facts. You know the facts. And a verdict for the plaintiff will say they were wrong, he was wrong. A verdict for the plaintiff
Does it really say that?
will make up in some way for what they've been through. A verdict for the plaintiffs will say that we don't condone, we don't approve, you can't get away with what Mr. Foreman's done. Not in this community, not in this country. That's not freedom of speech where we live. That's what a verdict for the plaintiffs will say. Let's look at another possible future if there were to be a verdict for the defendant, or if there were to be a verdict with a small amount of money attached to it. In that case, in that world, in that future, the world is told what he did is okay. What they went through is no big deal. We don't really care.
Not.
We think it's fine. That's what a verdict for the defendant or a small verdict would say. They would go home subject to even more ridicule. Yeah, you took him on and you lost. See what he did was fine. I don't have to tell you, you know, that's not the message we want to send. It's not the message you
That's
want
not
to send.
true.
Folks, I'm done. I've done all I can. These folks called me 3 years ago now and asked, what can we do to stop this? And here we are today. I've done what I can. They've done what they can. They've suffered through the publicity. They could have stopped this case at any time if they would have kowtowed to the pressure, public humiliation that Mr. Foreman continued to put them through, but they didn't. They bravely stood behind their
So
case
brave,
and
so
their right
brave, so
not
brave.
to be drugged through the mud with lies in the media. They've done all they can. And now I am giving their case and this decision to you. It's out of my hands. You have to decide what to say to Mr. Foreman and what to say to the community about what he's done and the effects that it's had on these folks. I have full confidence. I fully trust you to make the right decision, to make a fair decision, and to come back with a verdict that's fair for each one of these plaintiffs and that tells the community what you really think about this case. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Clifford. You have, 11 minutes after that. Final. Okay, Mr. Osborne?
That was awful. Absolutely awful, chat.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. This has been a long 3 days. It took a second for me to even count the number. It's been so long. A lot's happened. You've done your duty as jurors. You've paid attention to the evidence. I'm proud of that. What makes our country great is you have the right to have a jury trial. You have the right to people in the community to see this, weigh the evidence, and make a decision. And I'm proud that you guys are here and doing that. We started this time, I talked about this case was about freedom of speech. But let's talk about what it's also about. It's also about music. Not all music is tasteful. Not everybody likes all music. There's some songs I hate. I think we can find plenty of people that find songs they do not like. But Mr. Foreman, Joe is a rapper and comedian. It's what he's done his whole life is rap, make songs. We got to think of what rap is, because music does not exist in a vacuum. Music evolves over time. Take a look at jazz. It's evolved. At one time, it was distinct in a certain subculture, and it has now expanded. Rap is the same. Rap started out as a means for people to express social commentary, opinions through entertainment. Look at the song by NWA. What they call it? Fucked Up Police. I think I said that right. It's a social commentary on what was going on in their lives. Their personal effect, the personal things happening to them, combined with entertainment, which unfortunately is exaggeration. Opinion, nothing a fact in that song. It's a commentary on society. And so when you look at rap, you see that over and over again. I had my secretary print me a couple songs, rap songs, while I was pouring a cup of coffee. And the first one was Carly B, WAP. I find it bad to say what WAP means,
That wet
but
ass pussy with a
it's a popular
bucket
song.
and a mop for
I
that
think it's
wet
somewhat
ass
derogatory.
pussy.
But then again, I'm not the audience for that song. And I know that. I know nothing in that song. Nothing talking about is true. I know it's entertainment. I know it's social commentary. Miss Grooms testified even her students knew that at a young age. The same thing I knew when I was watching Johnny Carson, the late night show, and SNL, Saturday Night Live, with my grandfather when I was a kid. That's all entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
They make fun of everybody
Yes,
for entertainment. And some of it is a
I don't think I could be this guy's brother. This guy has a PhD in chemistry from Georgia. This guy's super fucking smart.
social commentary, but it is not fact. And everybody knows that. Nobody looks at Lil Wayne's song Pussy Monster and says there's a monster in that song. Everybody knows it's exaggeration for entertainment. Is he commenting on something? Sure.
He's coming out of Pussy Monsters.
And I can keep going. Megan Thee Stallion with sex talk. I mean, it just goes on. They use derogatory language. It's designed to entertain. Drew Hastings, former mayor of Hillsborough, was a comedian. I got to go to one of his stand-ups. Some of it was funny, some of it wasn't. Some of his jokes, like those of Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, some of them are not tasteful, but they're still jokes. They're not facts. And we know that. That's what a reasonable person listening to that would understand. And that's the point. This is not a vacuum. We don't live in a vacuum. Let's face it, if we lived in a vacuum, we'd all be dead because we couldn't breathe. So we live in a world full of everything, where we see things. We watch SNL. We know it's entertainment. We know it's going to pick on people. We understand that they're picking on public officials. Hell, they picked on Joe. They pick on Donald Trump all the time, Sleepy Joe. I mean, go down the list, even Teflon Ron was made fun of. So as you go back, nobody thinks that's fact. Nobody's going to take it that way. When they post their clips on YouTube, when they post their clips on Facebook, people don't look at it and go, that's the truth. No, they understand it's comedy. They understand they're going to talk about it going forward. And if you look at his posts, you see the little signs of that too. Iteration. Things that you see in a song. I mean, because after all, you know, a song's catchy, right? It has beat, song, you know, words rhyme. You know, she thinks my tractor's sexy and, you know, it sticks with you. When we listen to Lemon Pound Cake, you heard the iteration. You heard how it came together as entertainment. So we don't exist in the vacuum, and a reasonable person doesn't exist in the vacuum. As the judge said, you are a reasonable people. You get to decide what's reasonable, which means you get to use your experience. You get to use your understanding of what those are, of your understanding of Joe, of your understanding of rap music, music in general. I'm not going to sit here and say that these 7 people were happy about what happened to them. I'm not going to say that. That'd be stupid. But what I am going to say is they are public officials. We see it on the news all the time, public officials made fun of. Let's go back to voir dire. During my voir dire, we talked about, with the one juror who's gone, we talked about that, yes, I ran for public office. She agreed I put myself out as a public official. She agreed that it was an opinion when someone called me a baby killer. Even our witnesses on the stand, I asked that question. They said a crooked defense attorney is not a vine, it's a matter of opinion. Crooked cops, dirty defense attorneys. Oh, wait, one witness did want to say I might not have taken a shower. But those are all opinions, exaggerations, not statements of fact. And we know that. And that's why public officials are held to a higher standard, because that standard is what is expected of them as subjecting themselves to public scrutiny. They all testified that people have criticized their work. I mean, after all, we look at the search. There is, even Mr. Newland admitted it wasn't perfect. I think we can see from how the money was handled, the investigation. I would have liked to have seen a more thorough job myself. I mean, we have the chain of custody, the money that just leaves it laying there. Mr. Newland didn't know that. We have an unsealed evidence bag. We have 10% of all evidence, money evidence in the Adams County evidence locker miscounted. And then, keep in mind that miscount on those is less than what is alleged in this here. We got people saying we had a miscount, yet they can't even bother to notify the court in an official document that they made a mistake. Just let it ride. As far as the public record knows, which they never corrected, Mr. Foreman never got back all this money. They want to talk about an investigation, but they can't even put in a single piece of paper to correct his mistake. I don't know if I call that lazy or what, but I think it goes to what you consider a fact. Because what is a fact? We can't always know what a fact is. Fact is something you can disprove, right? But can we truly disprove that? Looking at all the evidence, there is questions. If there's questions, it's not a fact. Now, people will form opinions based on that. I formed an opinion. I imagine everybody here's formed an opinion. We know that they formed an opinion because they didn't like being called a thief. So that was their opinion. But people are allowed to have opinions. People are allowed to express them. What people are expressing when they call them thief is not a literal statement. It is not a fact. It is a social commentary on the fact that they didn't do things correctly. And they can't even articulate how they could fix it. That is a social commentary if I ever heard one. They don't like it? That's not their choice to like it or not. They're public officials. They're going to be held to higher standard. Their work's going to be criticized. I mean, that's just what happens when you're a public official. No reasonable person would expect a police officer not to be criticized. They've all been called names before. Has it affected them personally? Yes. Ms. Grooms testified it made no difference in her life. Her kids didn't take it seriously. And she's taught for damn near 30 years. But they seem to take it seriously. And I come back to Mr. Grooms. He's worried about going out on a call and being shot. Now, maybe I'm old-fashioned. But if I'm going out on a call, I'm worried about getting shot. I'm going to call my wife and tell her to be safe. Not sit here and go, I'm worried about me. That's not what you do. You take care of your family. Mr. Walters wanted to point that out. That just goes to show us he didn't take it seriously. Now, I'm not going to say they're not afraid. Anytime they go on a call, the highway patrol will tell you scariest thing's a traffic stop. You know nothing about the person. You're there by yourself, and things can change in an instant. Is that scary? Fuck yeah. I'd be scared.
He just said, fuck yeah, damn. I don't even have the balls to do that, but good job on him. Good job, Osborne, fucking laying it out there like that.
If you're truly scared, you take the steps for it. You start having your family do stuff. You start doing that. If you believe what you're saying, you take the steps towards it. You didn't take steps. No one else talked about how they took the steps either, did they? And why does that matter? Because a reasonable person is going to look at that. After all, let's go back to me not taking a shower. How would you know I didn't take a shower? Hair clumpy, probably matted, probably got dirt all over me. That's how you would see. That's how you would prove if that's an opinion or fact. Now, even then, you might say Dave just fell in the mud. But no reasonable person would take it in the vacuum. And I want you to think about everything in context. What rap is music, how it's entertainment, how the language works on it, how jokes are made. I want you to think back to it because that colors how you see it. I love picking on Joe. He's a good sport for it. Look at that suit. Does this look like a man who thinks that everybody's going to assume that everything he's saying is fact? I mean, he's like a comedian. He exaggerates for the sake of entertainment. That's who he is. I'm not going to say it's tasteful to everyone, but some people do find it entertaining. I asked an important question about them. I said, do you believe everything in the newspaper? No. Do you believe everything you read on the internet? No. We all know that to be true. A reasonable person knows that. People can post opinions, social commentary, and hurtful things all over the internet. And it is just to be expected. That's why we are supposed to use our own filter, use our common sense, use our experiences in life. So while hurtful, it was not fact. It was music, entertainment. Stuff that no reasonable person would understand, especially not a public official, because we see it on TV all the time. We see it on the internet. You see it on Facebook. Sometimes people want to turn off Facebook because there's so much political commentary and stuff. But that's expected. Do I expect everything I read is fact? I don't even think most of it's fact. I think it's everybody's opinion, and opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one and it stinks. But that doesn't mean they can't have it. That doesn't mean they can't express them. That doesn't mean they can't make a song about it. Truth is a defense. That's why we talked about theft. That's why we showed all that. Because I wanted to see how the money was handled. There's a lot of confusion around it. And for that reason. Before I get to another point, I want to address something that's bouncing around my head. Bob says, what does this message send if you find for Mr. Foreman? I rephrase that question a little differently. What does this message send if we find that music and social commentary, while maybe not the most tasteful thing in the world, is silenced because a public official, while hurt by it, yes, unhappy by it, yes, pissed off, yes, emotional, yes. What opinion does that sound? I mean, if you can sue people, music artists, comedians to shut them down, that's what we're looking at here. I'm sorry they feel the way they do. But there's a certain amount that you have to take as a public official. It's part of the duties as a job. As we talked about during voir dire, as I've talked about them being called a baby killer, there are certain things you take and you move on. It's part of the job. The plaintiffs, or I should say Bob, talks about how they wanted it to stop. Where was the certified cease and desist letter? Where was all this done? None of that was done until after they started the lawsuit, until after they brought it to court to make it stop. That's what they wanted to. They wanted to make it stop, yet they asked for money.
Very well done. I am very impressed with this. Very good job. Very good job here.
The commentary on them is nebulous at best. You can see that when you look at it. We have Beetle Bailey, Gomer Pyle, Colonel King Kong Bundy. Some of these names are not as bad as others, yes, but they're all for artistic purpose. They're all for jokes. They're all for entertainment. This is not to paint them in a real life. No reasonable person would think that.
No reasonable person.
It's kind of interesting because even Mr. Nealon agreed that when he was called a pedophile by Mr. Foreman, yes, that is a horrible thing to call a person. But even he said it was Mr. Foreman's opinion. So he didn't believe it was a fact. If your own witness doesn't believe it's a fact, how can a reasonable person find it's a fact?
And that's another problem. They admit it wasn't that bad.
Bob went to great lengths to say nothing will stop him. Shows us where we're at. We got to stop his expression. We got to stop entertainment. We got to stop exaggeration. That's what Bob's talking about. What chilling effect does that have on the world we live in? Think about it. You don't like what a commissioner does. You don't like what our prosecutor does. You don't like what any public official does, and you make a joke, and you're drugging the court. It may not have been a tasteful joke. It may have been a bad joke. It may have been the greatest joke ever. But what we're saying is if they don't like it, we're back here. What does that say to freedom of speech? What does that say to the world we live in? That's what this case is about. And Bob knows that. That's why he mentions it. That's why when you look at defamation and the jury instructions, you'll see that the first element of it is a statement. Portrayal of fact. Has to be portrayed as fact. No music video portrays as a fact. I don't watch Fuck Those Police and turn around and say, you know what, that's a fact. No. I say that's a song, it's entertainment, and move on. Sometimes I try to figure out what the words mean, what kind they're getting at, but I don't expect them to present a fact. Fourth element is the proximate cause. It's an interesting question there because you'll get the definition of causation and proximate. And we never talked about that really during the trial. It's going to be something that I want to discuss. They talked about getting phone calls. None of those posts. Joe never said, call them and tell them this. Mr. Cooley testified that they mailed pound cakes to the office. Joe never said send them a lemon pound cake. These are things that other people have done. Joe never directed them to do it. He didn't cause it. He made a joke. He cannot control how people take it. What they do,
True.
he's not that.
It's true.
All he can do is make a joke, make a song. So that's something to consider. Was he the proximate cause or was it someone else? I want you to understand when they get to the question of malice, if you get that far, it has to be actual malice. Public officials, it's a higher standard. Why? Because we hold public officials to a high standard.
I bet he was.
Let's talk about the false light. That's their second cause of action. That says that a reasonable person would be justified in the eyes of the community, feeling seriously offended and aggrieved. I want you to go in on the eyes of the community. They want to say people's humiliating them, calling them names. The reality is a reasonable person in the eyes of the community is going to say, it's a song. It's a joke.
Grow up. Yep.
I was flabbergasted to hear it myself, that they even thought it was a joke before they brought the lawsuit. Go to a Halloween party and bring a lemon pound cake. That, I almost have no words for that, honestly, because we're hurt, but it's a joke. Which one is it? So a reasonable person in the eyes of the community would understand it's a joke. Mr. Eastep testified about the joke of the shirt. We got the pound cake joke. There's various jokes for this. This was not as negative. This has not changed their view in the eyes of the community because your reputation, which is what they claim is hurt, your reputation is like a shirt. You eat a hot dog, you drop mustard on it, you get stains on your shirt. Nobody's reputation is clean. Everything you do affects your reputation. The way you perform your job affects your reputation. They all admitted to that on the stand because I asked that question. They all said it does. How they counted that money affects their reputation. People can form opinions based on how they did their job and criticize them on it. That's the right we have. You have to forgive me, I have to flip through these, son. We didn't have a lot of time to prepare as things change on the fly. I think as you go back and deliberate, take a look at all these exhibits, analyze it in the context of music, entertainment, opinion, social commentary. It's not fact. And if you look at it, you can see that. Like I said, it may not be tasteful, may not be nice, but even SNL is not nice. South Park's not nice. These things are social commentaries, jokes, entertainment, and some of them are not nice. But you don't have to like everything. You don't have to like everything said about you, and you don't have the right to tell everybody that everything said about you should be sued for, especially if you're a public official. As such, I ask you to deliver a verdict in Joe's favor on all claims. I ask that because when you look at it, no reasonable person could see it as a fact.
Hi, Tyler.
No reasonable person could see it as even false light. The community, if people called them, that's because the social commentary resonated with someone, resonated with what people experienced in the world. We've lived through a turbulent year, so we've all seen on the news what people are experiencing all over the country. Social commentary resonates because of that. That doesn't make him the proximate cause. That shows a deeper concern in our country that we should be addressing, not sitting here trying to decide if a music video is a fact or not. That's what's at issue here. And I'm confident as you go back in deliberations, you'll come to that conclusion too. And with that, I thank you again for your service, because it is not easy. And what you're about to do is not easy. It takes time and deliberation. It takes hard work. And I appreciate that you guys are willing to do it. And I reiterate again, that's what makes us a great country. Thank you very much.
Mr. Osborne? Go ahead, Mr. Plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Remember, he gets to go again as the plaintiff. They get the burden of persuasion. Also, real quick, Maddie, Matt I00. We'll get to that good question here in a second. So we'll take a look at a bunch of these questions, guys. We're just going to finish up first.
Nothing Mr. Osborne said about sexually explicit songs out in society refer to specific people in the community, like the songs that are at issue here.
How about Monica
It's not the
Lewinsky
same
or any number of
We all
people
know
in
that.
history?
These weren't opinions. Mr. Foreman didn't say, in my opinion, Brian Newland is a pedophile. In my opinion, they're all thieves. In my opinion, I fucked his wife doggy style. He said it like they were facts.
You have to keep
And I
saying
think
it.
Judge Hine is going to instruct you based on everything that's happened so far.
Fuck it,
That these were not
suck.
opinions. They were stated as fact. And your job is to decide whether those facts were true or not.
Well, they were true.
And we know they're not. The case isn't about lemon pound cake.
It is, though.
It's about intentional lies designed to hurt people. And
You're hot,
and to hurt
damn. You're hot.
If somebody in the jury room says, well, what about his First Amendment rights? You know, and the law tells you, that doesn't allow lies that hurt people. If someone tells you it's just artistic expression, he ought to be free to say what he wants, the answer is he's not allowed to wrap up harmful lies into songs, so-called art, put them out there and get away with it. The packaging of the lie doesn't make it okay. The message was clear. And Mr. Foreman doesn't get to wrap himself in the American flag and say, you can't touch me. I can say what I want, no matter how untrue it is, no matter how much pain it causes people, no matter for how long, because I have freedom of speech. He can't do that. I'm confident you'll tell him he can't do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Plaintiff. Let me acknowledge Mr. Osborne.
Your Honor, I didn't mean to interrupt you. My thing is, I was going to ask before we read the jury instructions, if I could if we could restroom break for that, because I know it's going to take some time to read.
Everybody's gonna stand in their seat and stretch. Nobody's gonna leave the room but you. Because you're pretty prompt with that, so go for it.
Thank you.
I'll just stand up. It's blood flowing.
That was true.
Well, you're my team.
Chad, that was phenomenal. Phenomenal work on the defense's part. Phenomenal work. Plaintiff was a fucking abysmal. That was abysmal arguments by the plaintiff. But I mean, the defendants was fire. Defendant was on fire. And if you watch that and you think the defendant's thing wasn't good, then I don't know I don't know what to fucking tell you, because that was fucking awesome. That was good. Super, super charismatic in my opinion. So here we go. Uh-oh, okay. You came back for a second. Here we go.
You start with the jury instructions when the case comes in the door. And then the court refines the instructions to account for the conduct of the trial. So to the extent that they might have gotten the instructions very quickly this morning, it's not that they didn't know it, it's the refinements, the little tweaks along the way that we're talking about. But I want to thank them because they did good work making it possible for me to get to the point where I can give these instructions to you. The court has the legal duty to prepare the instructions of law. You've heard the attorney's statements, arguments, you've heard the evidence from the witnesses. The court's duty is to instruct you on the law. And then you have a legal obligation to accept the instructions the way they're given to you.
Yeah.
It's your sworn duty to do that. You cannot apply what you think the law ought to be. You're obedient, as I am obedient, to the rules of the law. A person who claims that certain facts exist, in this case, the plaintiffs have to prove them, in this case, by what's called the preponderance of the evidence. You've heard me say this before. I'm going to try to go over things you know. But the obligations are called the burden of proof. Plaintiffs have to prove their facts by a preponderance of the evidence. Preponderance is more evidence in favor of their position than opposed to their position, tilting the scales in their favor. There's one element that has a different burden of proof. Clear and convincing evidence, a higher amount, a greater weight of evidence has to be proven with regard to the knowledge or the motive for publishing. But generally think, okay, can the plaintiffs prove their case by slightly more evidence in their favor than evidence opposed to them?
Wait, is he just...
There's two claims.
Hold on now. Is he just like fucking riffing on... He's not reading them. He's not reading the jury instructions. Like, you're supposed to read those like we've watched in every other trial. You don't just get the riff. This guy's just riffing the jury instructions. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this, man? Did I hear YouTube struck legal mindset? This is after Tuesday. Even the calendar says, what the fuck? Yeah. This is... You're not supposed to do this. This is not how you do it.
Called defamation, and secondly, false light invasion of privacy. In your deliberations, each of those claims is deliberated separately because there's separate rules for each. I'll give you more, but there's separate law for each of those separate claims.
Garbage.
There's 7 plaintiffs, each of whom is entitled to their own deliberation. So when I refer to plaintiff or plaintiffs, what I'm saying to you is that side of the room, but you always have to apply these facts individually and separately deliberate each person's claims. If you rule in favor of one plaintiff, it doesn't mean you have to rule for all the rest of them. And if you rule against one plaintiff, it doesn't mean you have to rule against all of them. So it's not like an all or nothing verdict. It's 7 deliberations.
Oh, this is hot garbage.
I'll use plaintiff and plaintiffs interchangeably.
Bitch, Hein, I am very disappointed in
I want to try to
you.
communicate to you. So to go back to burden of proof, preponderance is the greater weight of the evidence that you believe outweighs or is overbalanced by the evidence opposed to it. A preponderance of the evidence is evidence which is more probative, more probable, more persuasive. It has greater evidence value to you. Look at the quality of the evidence, not simply the quantity. If it was only about quantity, there would be more plaintiff witnesses than defendant witnesses. So you think, oh, just because of the number of witnesses, someone must prevail, when in fact you look at the quality of the evidence. Don't get hung up on which side called the witnesses. Think about the quality of the testimony, what you took from it, regardless of numbers, regardless of where it came from. If it would turn out in your mind that there's an equal balancing, the evidence opposed to it in favor are equal, then the plaintiffs have not met their burden of proof because they didn't tip the scale slightly in their favor. If you could decide a fact or an item in two different ways, you have to decide it based upon the facts, not guesswork or coin flips or I don't care. So in those areas where it's hard or it's difficult to resolve, you have to resolve it. You can't leave it up to I don't care and I'll just flip a coin or it doesn't matter. Guesswork's not what you're expected to do. The heavy work of sorting out the facts, deciding which side of the scale they go on is the role of the jury. Now, when we talk about preponderance, slightly shifting, we also have to talk about clear and convincing evidence, a different standard for that one element of motive to publish. Clear and convincing evidence is a higher or greater amount of evidence. You have to be more convinced. Clear and convincing means the evidence produces in your mind a firm belief or a firm conviction that that item is true. So preponderance might be, by example, slightly tipping the scales. Firmly convinced is more convinced, greater evidence offered by the plaintiffs with regard to the motive or the knowledge of publication. What's the evidence of trial? Evidence is testimony and exhibits. Evidence is direct and circumstantial. People scratch their heads on this, but it makes sense later. Direct evidence is when a witness has an opportunity to see or hear those things about which they testify. I sat here, I watched the jury take their notebooks and write in their notebooks. Direct evidence, an eyewitness. Circumstantial evidence is different. Circumstantial evidence is when you look at the facts and circumstances surrounding something you saw, and then you make a conclusion that something else actually occurred. I saw the jury box empty, I saw the pencils, I saw the notebooks, I saw the end of the day. The notebooks were all open, there were words written there. So it's circumstantial evidence that the jury took notes. I didn't see you take notes. But from the facts and circumstances that I did see, it's a reasonable conclusion of fact that you did take notes. Why do I tell you that? Most evidence came at you both directly and circumstantially. Things that I personally saw, and then things that happened as a result of what I saw. Circumstantial evidence is fair game as much as direct evidence. Direct evidence isn't better. You might think it's better when in fact it's not always better, because the witness didn't tell you that they were blind when you thought they saw something.
This is absolutely fucking garbage. He should not be riffing like this. This is an absolute travesty of the jury instructions here. So, anyways, they got set out. Then we came back for the jury verdict. And once again, Afroman, not liable on all counts. The jury found for him completely total Afroman victory. Guys can't get a free Clyde Tower? Wow. YouTube's being really, is this appealable? Gigatard, yes. In a civil case, the plaintiff and the defendant can both appeal cases. The amount of appealable error, though, that plagued the case from the defendant's side far outweighs anything that happened here for the plaintiffs. Like, they could challenge it and go to court, but the Court of Appeals is going to say a reasonable jury made their decision. So the idea they're going to be able to appeal this, I mean, like, you can, but remember, appeals are for losers, so. And we're going to back up and we'll go through the verdict one more time here. We'll do the verdict one more time. Hold on, chat. Here we go into this. So here's kind of the whole courtroom. It's kind of big. Did he come up and talk to them in front? Yeah. What? Like, Jesus Christ, just fucking do the thing, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm not impressed with this judge. My understanding, he's got kind of a shitty track record in the Court of Appeals. Hold on, Chad. We're gonna speed this along here.
What they should do, the parties do what they should do. I just want to remind everybody that how the verdict comes out, verdict, don't express it. So the verdict forms are properly executed, properly completed. Copies will be made available to the parties. In all circumstances, the jury finds in favor of the defendant. No plaintiff verdict prevailed. So the matter will be concluded with defense verdicts. Thank you, Mr. Klingler. Thank you, Mr. Osborne. Thank you to the court staff and the Sheriff's Department for security in the building.
Look at those losers! Ah! Loser, 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 loser. L, 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 L. And then Lisa's probably over here, so behind the beard in L. Fucking rack them L's, son.
And we'll go ahead and stand in adjournment. You're welcome.
And he's sitting there, he's like, maybe my wife really did fuck Afroman. Maybe he fucked me now. We have the same boat. We both been fucked by the bull. He done fuck both of us.
You guys want to go on into the jury room?
Go ahead and relax, whatever it is you need.
I'll get your vote.
Yep. Have the jury go that way. Have them go back into their room.
If you guys don't mind to hang out in there for a little bit, I can get you, okay?
All right.
So, and that's it, chat. That's it. Maddie says, can you object to the riffing on the jury instructions, or do you have to accept what he's doing? I would object. I'd say, Judge, we have jury instructions. Can you please read them? But I kind of get the feeling they're aware of this is how that judge operates, so you let him go. But it's not proper. Ohio has set jury instructions for a reason. The jury is properly informed by things that are done according to law. And this guy didn't do it. This guy didn't do it. Bill says, was this at Court TV? No. This was on the local TV affiliates. This did not garner the attention of Court TV or Law and Crime, which is a shame because they could have fucking killed on this one. Skelter says, can Afroman countersue? No. He already countersued and the judge dismissed those claims. So based on res judicata, he's done. So there's no more countersuits. I mean, on some things, but really about anything about this, it's like he already filed counterclaims and he lost on those. So not really a whole lot he could do there, especially around this situation. Lenny, they haven't lost their qualified immunity. What the fuck are you talking about? They have not. They have not lost anything. The case is like, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but that's not even close. Can he ask for attorney's fees? 100% he can. 100% he can ask for attorney's fees. So yeah, 100% he can ask for attorney's fees. Is he going to get them? No, he's not going to get attorney's fees. This judge has been really a big asshole. I don't think he'll give them a dime, which is a shame. But, and even then, their standards, was this a wholly frivolous case? I think you could argue it wasn't. So it's not like a presumption for attorney's fees there. Chell saying, I missed all this. Can I get a little summary? Okay, yeah. So back in 2022, the sheriff's department raided Afroman's house on a search warrant. Apparently, some meth addict made up a bunch of nonsense that Afroman had kidnapping victims. He had been kidnapping women, and he had a ton of drugs at his house. So the police put together a search warrant, and they raided his house. They busted down the gate on the front of his property. They kicked in his front door. And as they searched his house, they tore it apart. They disabled the security cameras and ripped them off the walls. And then they took like $4,000 of money. They claim they had $4,400. And then by the time he comes back for his money, they only had $4,000. So he never got arrested or charged with any crimes. And Afroman, in response to all of this, started making songs using the security camera footage he had of the deputies making fun of them. And these deputies, their pussies got a real sandy, and they started crying, and they wanted to sue because they felt they were being defamed, that, you know, comments about them being pedophiles and Lisa being a lesbian, and that he'd fucked a couple of their wives, that wasn't fair. Well, that's where we are now. Has he written any new music yet? Don't think so. So, can Clyde get a U.S. flag suit? That would be hilarious. We'll work on that. But yeah, the informant was clearly methed up, from what I've heard. So, has the warrant application ever been released? No, as far as I know, no. Just the actual warrant itself. Let me see. All right, now let's get back up to some of these other questions you guys have here. John H. says, does he get a minimum amount paid by the cops? Are you talking about the attorney? Yes, he is probably working on contingency of some level. And generally, that's about 30%. In this situation, though, I spoke to Matthew Hart about this. We kind of wonder if the FOP was paying for this, because that's a lot of money. Like, otherwise, they'd have to, these bumpkin deputies would have had to have fronted some money, because that's a lot of money that this attorney invested in this and got nothing for. And this is a shaky case. Like, I can't believe he thought this was like a home run banger to start with. So, I don't think that's what happened here. Like I said, I don't think he got that way, but who knows? The world is full of surprises, chat. And, you know, we are nothing but constantly surprised in this life. And it's 2026. So who knows? There could be all kinds of crazy shit. We don't know. Certainly the county didn't pay for this. That's the one thing I can tell you. So there we go. Sorry, Chet. I had something fucking weird mark on my screen. I was like, what the fuck is that? Okay, sorry. Obscure destinations for 21 months. Hi, Ron. Hi, Tony. Saying, does he get a minimum? Or I thought his trial was over and he won. Yes, it is. We were just going back through it. But thank you for being here for 21 months. Thank you. And let's see. What else did I miss? Dirty Eric is saying, how much of a factor could Kovacs versus Palma, the Parma police? I think you mean the guy up in Parma who made fun of the cops playing this. How much of the jury heard long before Afroman via the Village Whispers? I mean, certainly that's all something that's out there, but these jurors probably said, like, oh, I don't know anything about it. I'll have an open mind. But certainly in a small, it's a community of 28,000 people. Word gets around, and I'm sure people weren't thrilled with the way this whole thing went. So, not a surprise there. Not a surprise there. But that's a very good point, Eric. Very good question. Matt is saying, do you know if Afroman wanted to get better jurisdiction if he could have uploaded the videos in different Ohio counties when they've been able to sue him there, or where they filmed their home county? Well, they were filmed in, for example, the Lickum Lolisa. There are parts of that were filmed in Cincinnati, but most of that was filmed in Adams County. And we'll just, he'll content ID it, but I got to do it anyway, because we're just going to use it as an example. So let me see here. Let me see. Where is... Yeah. So, for example, I guess we'll use this as an example here in chat, just so I can show you guys. If I think what you're asking, this is Cincinnati. This is about an hour away from where Afroman lives, clearly. So that's not. Also, if you weren't aware, we had about a week and a half of 65, 70-degree weather, so this is all recent. And I'm assuming this was all filmed in Adams County, near where Afroman lives. Then this is a bus station. I think this is probably in Cincinnati or somewhere.
She ate all the pussy all around.
That's I think over by Afroman's house or somewhere nearby. So like they filmed a lot of the stuff in areas, they filmed this. This is the front gate of Afroman's house. This is actually they filmed it all here. The actual videos he made, I'm thinking he probably filmed this at the Kroger in West Union. I'm assuming this is inside his house. They just filmed the most recent thing. Let's see, what else is he? I'm assuming Mi Camino Real is somewhere out in his neighborhood. I'm assuming this is welcome to Adams County. It's all he did it all there. Now, what else you're asking is if he had uploaded in a different county, would they have been able to sue him there? I mean, you could sue people where a tort is committed, but in this case, the reputational harm for them is in Adams County, really. I mean, he could film them in, he could have filmed all this and had his YouTube channel set up in where Afroman is here. Hold on. Afroman's way down here, chat. Afroman's right down here. He could have come up to Cleveland and filmed all this. The harm's not really up here in Cleveland. The harm's down here. So, he could have filmed it up in Cleveland, but the harm's all the way down in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati area, right? His county where he lives. This is it right here. Up here doesn't really, he could film it in Cleveland, but it doesn't really hurt anybody. Their reputation was damaged in this county. It's where they live. It's where they're from. Also, it's where they're from as defendants. So you have the right as a defendant to sue where you live. And I don't see why you wouldn't try it here. It's, it's your hometown. They've lived here longer than he has, but, it seems like they're both fixtures in the community. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, filming it down there, doing it down there is the thing that makes the most sense. But Scheme Man for 16 months says, is that defense lawyer your long lost brother? No. Thank you for noticing, though. Yes, Skelter 13 says, Afroman fucked all their wives, and the judge is scared his is next. Yes. Very true. And then Ski Man for £5 sterling. Well, actually, we can't do the King sterling because you're a Scotsman. So not for the king. It says, Sean, have you ever thought about growing such a magnificent set of beard like David Osborne? I couldn't do that. It would drive me crazy having it that long. I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. Wouldn't be able to do it. EDW Raptor says, here I am. What are your other 2 wishes? The Fair Frozen says, God, please be true. It'll be funny as fuck now that he won. He'll make a whole new ass album that goes twice as hard. Please. Yes, he will. And now everything he does is fully protected by anti-slap. So JLR57 says, did he write any music yet? Not new music, I don't think. Stacy says, for 27 months, call your cousin and see if he'll do an interview. I reached out to him. I will send him another email and see if he'll answer. I doubt he will, though. Mr. Squiggles has been here for 41 months. Thank you. Thank you for the support, man. It says, I just got here. Can you start over? No. KJ has been here for 25 months. Thank you as well. It says, do you have to report the judge's improper conduct? I know that it's not unethical conduct. I just think he sucks. That's not a... I don't have to report everybody who sucks. So no, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. Sleazy for $10 says, what are the odds all these cops go home and beat their wives, and in Lickham's Lisa's case, her wife? I bet pretty high. Remember, Google police officers in 41%, and you'll find out some interesting facts, chat. You'll find some interesting facts. Maddie says, speaking of defense lawyer, he must want to be punished because he ran for prosecutor in that county for the blue team when the county is 87% for Trump. Yeah, you know what, though? If you are convinced that you are doing the right thing, then it's, hats off to you. I'm sure he thought he was doing the right thing and fighting the good fight. So, or it's Google 41%. Well, that turns into the true 41% too, though. Grooming grooms his wife won't let him. Yeah, I know. She's going to be, well, he can't beat her because she's too busy getting fucked by Afroman. Because he's going to go home and it's, I don't know if she's sucking his dick. I don't know. So Afroman's fucking his wife. Hard. A lot of lesbian cops get busted for spousal abuse. A lot of lesbians in general. Lesbians have a lot of domestic violence issues. There is a higher propensity for domestic violence in a lesbian couple versus a gay male couple or even a straight couple. It's statistically significantly higher. It's a significant amount. So, but yes, he beat them, won there. Thank God the judge didn't fuck this case up too bad. And the jury saw it through, and the jury made the right decision. I don't think Afroman, I'm checking. I haven't seen a I haven't seen any things for Afroman wanting to do a interview or something, which you'd think he'd want to do. So, Green Cap says, did he win his counterclaim? No. Apparently, I don't know what happened, if they dropped it or whatever, but I guess technically if the court's saying they found for him in all counts, does that mean the counterclaim won? It's not clear. That's not been established, which is a problem when things aren't done right. So we'll see. We'll see. But right now, it's not clear. But thank you for being here, Greencast, for 24 months. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. But Skeeve Man for £2. Sterling says, What happened with Kurt's stream earlier? I have no idea. Did something happen to his stream? Hold on, chat. Hold on, chat. All right, sorry, chat. I don't know what happened with Kurt, so I have no idea. I've been busy, so. Kill Billy says, I don't know how to take this. I like to see cops lose, but I don't like a black man winning. Well, yeah. So, were you going to try to get an Afroman interview, Sean? Sean? Yes, I've been trying, and hopefully I can. So, Afroman was posting in his YouTube comments yesterday. He was saying, this is the best time of my life. Yes. Yeah, Sleazy, I saw that. I already emailed that guy, so hopefully he gets back to me. Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know what happened to his stream. That sucks. Did Afroman get costs yet? Not yet. He's going to have to motion for that, and I doubt the judge is going to grant it, sadly. That's the problem here. That's the problem. So, let's see. So. Let's see what else they're going on here. Let's see if there's any other. Let's see here. Afroman will not be safe for traffic violations, real or otherwise. Well, see, that's going to be. He's got automatic cannon fodder for that. If they try to fuck with him, that's going to look really bad. So, hold on here, chat. So yeah, he's the counterclaim is gone for right now, but yeah, there's no, I'm sure they're going to appeal to get the counterclaim reinstated, but I don't think it's going to happen, sadly. Tim says, my diabetic had a major dental surgery, so it needs something really soft and calorie dense. Well, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Fire him. I have a dash cam all the time now. So. Can I file a motion in this case? Like what? Like pro hoc vice or amicus curiae? Like a friend of the court motion? On what grounds was his counterclaims dismissed? Part of them were for qualified immunity. Part of them, I forget why, but the judge really made some shitty rulings. So it was very shitty logic on the judge's part. I was not impressed with it. So, I thought it was absolutely fucking horrible. So let's see here. I was watching and it was emotionally scarred. Yes. If you interview him, consider he said that all his music comes from personal experiences. Can you ask about the line? She whipped out a dick that was bigger than mine. Yeah. You want me to do a friend of the court thing and amicus curiae? I could, but I would have to petition for permission to file one first. You have to ask for permission to file, and then the court allows you to file. So, I mean, I could try, but I'm like, it's too late now, but I'm not. If you're going to start, like, if I want to cover it, it's hard for me to then act like this if I'm in the case. So that becomes the issue when you start doing that stuff. When you start doing those things, you can't really, like, you can't spurg out that much if you're in the case. That becomes just a little bit of a problem. A little bit of a problem. I guess the judge had a track record for bad rulings, from what I understand. Probably what I understand. Says, ask him what Daniel Radcliffe is like in real life. Oh. So could Sean show his toy dollies? Cincinnati Gill says judge is a visiting judge, i.e. retired Rusty. And that's not how it works in Ohio. Visiting judges are generally, they are retired, but they get paid like a couple, they're generally filling in somewhere for some court somewhere. Like there's not a ton of them. So no, he's been working a lot, I bet. I mean, he's overseeing the Pike County murders, where that thing's getting ready to happen. Like he's been pretty busy over the past, year and a half. So he's not a schlub. He's not a schlub. So he's anything but rusty. But rusty. I want to file against Afroman. I hurt my neck jamming to those songs. Yes, I agree. So Patrick says Afroman meets with Trump in 2024. In 2025, we got reduced to a Schedule 3 drug. I didn't realize Trump met Afroman. Is Afroman on the Trump train? Based. He is. Even if he's not, still based. I know he didn't like Hunter, but that doesn't mean anything because not a lot of people liked Hunter. A lot of libs didn't like Hunter. So, yes, congratulations, Afroman. And also congratulations, America. Air Goose Tuesday. Made of Question says, was the warrant kosher? I mean, yeah, they're gonna say it's legitimate. They're like, it's gonna be almost impossible to go after the cops for the warrant. So yeah, it's pretty much it. So, can you appeal the countersuit? Yes, he can. Is it going to go anywhere? Probably not. I mean, a lot of it comes down to abuse of discretion. And, even if it's de novo, was it really out of line? Was there clear error? No. So. John Coleman says Pike County was years ago. There's more. Yeah, the dad still hasn't gone to trial yet. He is challenging it. He challenges competency. He's still fighting trial. Mom pled. The brothers have pled. Dad is still fighting trial at this point. Still went to trial. Entertainment power fucks. Or power fooks. I'm beyond happy after my win. I am too. I think it's a very good thing it had to happen. I wish you had some actual free speech over there in the UK. I do too. I wish you guys were in a better spot. Yeah, they said he had 5,000 pounds of pot and a woman in his basement, but he doesn't have a basement. Yeah. So, Trent is a Trent says Pike County. Yes. In Pike County, there was a mass, basically like an entire family got murdered in the middle of the night, and a baby, it was, this entire family Basically, anybody in the family older than like 2 years old got executed in the middle of the night. And people thought it was like the cartels. This happened a couple of years ago. And then it turns out it was the family of the baby daddy and his family of one of the kids over some hillbilly custody suit. And they killed everybody in the other family over some hillbilly bullshit. Wigwalk says, what are the Pike County murders? I mean, I guess we'll fire it up real quick. Pike County murders are Pike County is in Ohio. And what happened? They murdered 8 people, like an entire fucking family, like literally an entire family. Back in 2016, 8 people, all in the Roden family, were shot and killed in their 4 homes on their like adjoining properties. Everybody, including a 16-year-old, would have been shot execution style. Yeah. So people thought it was all about them growing drugs and they were doing cockfighting. But ultimately, here's all the people who got murdered. 8 people got murdered in octuple homicide. And then ultimately they found out that the baby daddy of one of the kids, in the Wagner family, basically fucking snuffed them all out over a hillbilly custody fight. So, yeah, mom was the ringleader. Their grandma got involved too. So let's see here. Where is... Hold on. What's the... Oh, it was entirely over child custody. That they admitted to doing it over the child custody battle. The baby daddy had basically molested the girl, and when he was, basically statutorily raped her, and she had the baby, and they wanted the baby, and the court said no, so they acted like hillbillies and murdered the family for it. Been there, done that. Says, could you do a Franks hearing? Not at this point. The case is over, and he hasn't been charged, so there's no Franks. There's nothing to do. There's nothing they can do about it. They could try 1983, but that's not going to get you anywhere either. I mean, shit. Cops fucking murder people and get away with 1983 stuff, so no, they kind of get away with it. Sucks. If I hear cockfighting, I think of something else. Well, yeah, there's that too. Typical Southern Ohio activities. I mean, it is par for the course of Southern Ohio. It is par for the course in Southern Ohio. Skin Rose says yesterday, Lickum Lolisa is my favorite tune. It's mine too. I've been really enjoying it. And there's a whole part to it that I don't know if anybody ever actually saw the ending of it. And I think it's worth, we can watch it and join together on this. So here's the rest of the saga with Afroman and Lickum Lolisa. This is after talking to her attorney. He's like, I'm so sad I didn't mean to make... Oh my God, he's at his lawyer's office. They filmed this. That is so fucking funny. Right here, David Osborne. Aw. Oh, he's gonna take care of Lisa.
Wait a minute. What the fuck is this?
Oh, this. I did a show one night, and this girl said, "Hey, Afroman, I want to give you some pussy."
Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. We gotta. Oh crap. All right, there we go. Can't show that. Fuck. If you guys didn't know, they're going to Larry Flint's Hustler in Cincinnati. This suit that he's wearing is like all the cops he's making fun of. Shit. I love a happy ending. What a king indeed. The king of kings. Anyway, there you go. If Lisa bans a stream, it's canon, yes. Lisa did get a happy ending, yes. EDW Raptor says, Katie, this could be us, but you be playing. I'm watching the court part where it shows this video. It's great content. Yes, it is. Ray swapped Sean a 2.0 store. 2.0 is white, but okay, yes. Captain Dog says, fuck me, I just woke my wife up laughing. I was not expecting that. Well, I am sorry. Tell your wife my apologies. Thank you for the super chat. Funny stuff. Oh, you guys want me to keep going? All right, fine. We'll finish up here. Oh.
Look 'em, little Lisa used to toss my salad for hours. Lisa used to lay on the floor and let me piss in her mouth.
I hate it because those kids knows who I am. That's those kids in the car. Is that who I think it is?
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Wow, interesting. Or you went driving to that bridge like, what the fuck? Yes. Did we do Brian Newland yet? Not yet. Not yet. We need a country remix of that song. Entertainment Power says, the fact the deputy take that one song too serious makes it even funnier. Deputy Pancake indeed. This is what our founding fathers fought for, the right to fuck with your government. Yes, he did. Current says, makes you wonder how many innocents they've harassed and stole from. Oh, true. True. Oh, there is a comment from Afroman. Oh, shit. Here we go, chat. Here we go.
Yeah.
Come on, pause. Goddamn Twitter. It does not pause when you want it to. All right, here we go.
Yeah, we did it, America. Yeah, we did it. Freedom of speech. Right on. Yeah, God bless America. Yeah, power to the people. Yeah, we did.
I mean, power to the people, indeed. Power to the people, indeed. To be fair, she really is thick. Yeah, she is thicker than a Snicker. Jamie Reed said, I told you we can't watch this one. Well, we did. I love America. I love America too. Can't do this in Japan. Can't do this in Japan. Is it better? Oh, wait, hold on. Where is that at? Brad says better than Ethan Ralph's video. Yes, absolute cinema. Yeah, some of this stuff was recorded with the actor sitting in the chair. Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you let a client film a music video in your office if it's Afroman? Yes. Yes. Entertainment Power is saying, as someone from Germany, Deutschland, it's hard to watch what is going on in America now. I think what you're being told and what you're seeing, it's actually not as bad as you think it is. It reminds me of the past from my country. It's not even remotely close. I understand your concern for that, but I think a lot of the people out there are putting the alarm out. Everything to them is 1939. Everything is Hitler. It's actually not that bad. There are even things the current government's doing that I don't like. And if you've ever listened to me, a lot of the ways they've handled a lot of the immigration issues I haven't liked. The idea that the Iran war is starting to spiral out of control and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The way things have been handled, I've not been thrilled with, but I think we are far, 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 far from anything really serious happening. And I don't think that's ever going to happen. And, if it ever does, there's all kinds of stuff you can do about that. And it's, if you ever need to, you can just do what you got to do. So, but we don't have that problem right now. So, and I don't think it's really there. So I know there are people who are getting concerned about it, but it's really not a problem here. So just saying, chat. I'm just saying. One of the cops, well, if it's his brother convicted of sexting minors. Curran says Trump is dumbass starting the war. Shutting down Hormuz is going to be bad for our economy. Just give him some time. I actually think the military's probably adequately planned where to hit every fucking bunker and open up the strait. We'll see though. So let's see here. Yeah, if you want to look at pre-World War II Germany versus now, examine Antifa. Yeah, I agree with that. But hey, on a positive note, a bunch of those Antifa got sent to fucking prison for their attack earlier. So we'll see. America's a shithole because Lisa isn't topping the charts. I agree. That's going to be the problem. Bella says it's been 2 weeks since in a TikTok short. I agree. But I'm just concerned where this can go. So, I mean, they don't really need intel from China. You can go to Maxar and buy fucking satellite images. You can go to Google and buy satellite images. Like, the idea, like, they're getting anything special, it's like, yeah, but, the Chinese are shitting their pants because now they're realizing none of our surface-to-air missiles are going to work. None of our shit's going to work. the Americans figured out how to make a copy of the Shaheed for the same price the Iranians use it. And it's even better than the Shaheed drone. Like, if I was the Chinese, I'd be shitting my pants right now. So, yeah. Bob says, I'm from Mongolia, and this reminded me of the 1250s. Yes. When the world needed him the most, though, chat, Styx, Hex, and Hammer had a stroke and ran from the law. Well, did he really run if he has a stroke, or is he like... He's running away, chat. Wasn't the Shaheed originally a German design? No, it was an Iranian design. And then they gave it to Russia. Russia made the Garan. And then we got a couple of the crashed ones, probably out of Ukraine, and re-engineered them and made the Lucas drone. So, America's an endless supply of shitheads, too. Well, that's true as well. So, the Shaheed originally was a German design? Really? Oh. ACOG says, with a partnership from Dornier. It was called the Dornier DAR. Really? Oh. Huh. We're going to pull that up real quick. That said, though, Americans had a very robust drone programs going on before, throughout the Cold War, especially in the 80s. They had, oh, wow. Oh my God. Check this shit out, chat. Check this shit out. The Dornier Drona anti-radar was a West German loitering munition fucking based. Designed as a 200-pound Delta Wing suicide drone to destroy radars. Wow, okay. Okay. Really? Interesting. That'd have been freaky to see. Designed 1985. It's as old as me, chat. It's 40 years old. That's interesting. Wow. Yeah, that's a Shaheed. It's also a Lucas drone. It's also a Garan. But we made it. We called it the Lucas. And this is even better than the Shaheeds because this operates in a lot better way. Launch them off the LCS. Cool. German space magic at its best. That means we need a bolt action Shaheed drone. That would be hilarious. I'll have to make one. So it's the Germans' fault. Yeah. Oh yeah, we had TV camera bombs in World War II. We had a TV guided bomb. The problem was it didn't have the best range. But yes, there's footage from World War II of a TV guided bomb, and they steer it on the target. The amount of technology that's out there has truly been fucking amazing. And think about it. They had infrared night vision at the end of World War II. Let's see here. Yeah, the Lucas is just like a Shaheed. It costs like 30 grand. So we bullp up your Shaheed. Slayer says the Lucas has a shorter range and a smaller warhead, but it's also got AI in it that allows it to do better targeting. So unlike the Garan or the Shaheed, which is like a just, launch it and hit the GPS coordinates, it works and it's a lot more effective. So yes, night vision required massive IR illuminators, but nobody else had the IR back then, so it didn't matter. Apparently the Lucas could also hunt other drones. I've heard that too, but I don't know if that's true or not. Doesn't matter. You can shoot down drones with the fucking Apaches, apparently, which is hilarious. All right, but we got to save that for the Trump show, guys. We're going to save that for the political show. That's not for tonight. Once again, this is about America and Afroman being victorious. Congratulations, Afroman. Congratulations. Bro, Zufo. Prosuso for 5 subs. Let's fucking hit it, chat. I'll woo tonight, and I'll woo tonight. Big support. Yes, big support. You're still gray. I don't think that's anything to be proud of. That's nothing to be proud of. You know, that's not proud. It's amazing how much technology can keep leap forward when we reverse engineer an alien spacecraft that crash landed in the 40s. Yes, we're still figuring it out. Well, that's how they do it. They drip and drab it out to release it to us in little bits. Bob Johnson, we had a bonbon ear flutter. Well, we have a bonbon emoji out there. We also have a look 'em up Lisa emoji as well. So if you're green, you can use those. So I'll be permanently gray because Joe Kent's under an FBI investigation. Yeah, apparently he married some like super left chick, and he kind of like everything changed with him. So yeah, it's not a surprise he was leaking. That was just really weird how that happened. We got all the bonbons out there. What happened with all the UFOs yesterday? Yeah, so there was like a over Cleveland, something like a meteorite came in and like blew up over the area. I was inside like a building. I was in a courthouse, so I couldn't hear it. But apparently, it was like 2.0 said like it rattled the house. It scared the shit out of Clyde. But like everything rattled. It sounded like a thunderstorm, like right outside the house. But like my sister heard it on the other side of town. People all over the area heard it. People driving on the road really heard it. So. It was very crazy. It was very weird yesterday. So. You call people spooks. Intelligence operatives are known as spooks. Was it swamp gas? I don't think so because it snowed yesterday. Mexican Vader says Bondagos and Laney and Clyde. Oh, he got them all. You got them all. We'll have to. I slipped in the bathroom and just played along. I will. We'll have to work on getting a Louis one. We'll have to get a Louis one. That was a heavenly messenger for Afroman. Yes, that's really what happened there. Oh, that's true. That is true, chat. Manny says, you'll believe anything. Guys 100% loyal to Trump and 100% with January 6th rioters, but now he's super left, sure. I bet the same thing's true of MTG. Well, MTG is just a grifter. You know, Joe Kent up at like as of last year when he was on like Sean Ryan and everything was pointing out like going after Iran is not a bad thing. Iran's caused over 150 documented attacks on American troops. It's actually probably in the thousands. So yeah, all kinds of problems. Clyde has keyboard lessons, Bonbon has tap lessons, and Louis has drum lessons. Yeah. We don't do no emergency piano recitals in this house, chat. No emergency piano recitals in this house. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap this up here. We're going to head over to the model stream tonight. I don't have anything planned for tonight. I thought we were going to have like more to go through and more to deal with. But apparently this ended early tonight, so we're gonna go over to the model stream and work on the elephant. If you guys know what I'm talking about, if you guys are new, besides being a lawyer, which I am an attorney out in Ohio, in Cleveland. I build models, so we're gonna build this, and we're gonna work on building this, the Jagdpanzer Elephant Tank Destroyer, over on the model channel. So And we're going to get going on that. So, yes, we're going to go over there and see if I can get another strike again tonight, chat. Oh, God. Yeah, that was so much fun. Let's just make sure we can even set it up here. All right, chat. If you guys want to come over there, it's fun. We usually just hang out. You guys watch me build stuff and get frustrated building stuff. And that's kind of how it works. It's kind of how we do things. And I hope you guys will join me because it's usually a very fun time. And okay, let me create it so Katie did not ruin the channel completely. Which is good. Thank you, Katie, for not completely ruining things. Make sure you guys tell thank you to Katie, chat. But no, guys, seriously, I hope we get some things out with Afroman. I did ask for an interview. Who knows if I'm going to get it, but fingers crossed, chat. Fingers crossed. I'll drive all the way down there to do it. I'll even get high as fuck with him for the interview. We'll do it, man. We'll do it. That's how dedicated I am right now. I am dedicated to the cause. That's how serious I am about it. So, if you get the interview, I'll do a backflip. Big Airbrush hates me. Yes, it does. It does a lot. Is the airbrush felted? Kinda. What's this? Hold on, chat. There we go. But yeah, we also watch and hang out, have fun. It's a nice time. So we'll be doing that. You had to watch what did Mike think it was going to go bad, or did he not like it, or what? So, there's an American Idol contestant getting charged with murder. Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow night on the Thursday night show. And guys, if you are new here, yes, real quick, every Thursday night at 9:30, we talk about we have our Thursday night show, and we talk about all kinds of things out there. The Antifa verdict out of Texas was made last week on Friday. There's been some resolution in the case out of Georgia where the teacher got killed when the kids TP'd his house. There's some new policies regarding the DC grand jury, and you're like, it'd be nice if they'd done this for everybody, but why are we only doing it now? There's a weird lady she's in a hospital, squatting in a hospital, and they have to evict her. It's really weird. And then, yeah, there's one of the former American Idol contestant in Ohio is like facing murder charges, and the murder looks pretty gruesome and interesting. So. Do I think? Oh no, I won't smear you as extreme left. Not at all. Not at all. But the idea that Joe Ken all of a sudden just kind of gave up the ghost seems a little weird. Did I see the Subnautica 2 updates? Bro might have lost his company off of ChatGPT. No, I did not. That's fucked up. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, Angela, have a nice night. Have a nice night. Oh, he wanted Afroman to lose? Well, I mean, some people can be. I mean, there are people who thought they were very pro-plaintiff, and that's okay. Like, looking at the facts, I can understand it. I happen to disagree. But they can do that if they want. So with that said, chat, I am gonna head over to the model stream, and I hope you guys join me. Just, and remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. And once again, Afroman not liable for defamation. So suffer, lick 'em up, Lisa. Suffer, pedophile Newland. Suffer, Sean. Suffer Sean Cooley. Suffer Pound Cake. Suffer. Afroman's fucking your wives, chat. Afroman fucked your wife. Suffer. And take care, chat. I will see you guys tomorrow.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick Hayden yelled at? Why, yes it was.